Let's talk about verbalized sampling, and this is a new research paper by Northeastern, Stanford, and West Virginia researchers. And before I begin, let me show you an example. So I have a chat GPT window over here, and let me ask it to tell me a joke on coffee. So tell me a joke on coffee.
Absolutely. Here you go. Why do coffee beans never get in trouble? Because they know how to stay grounded.
Tell me another one.
Of course. Here's another one for you. Why did the coffee file a police report? Because it got mugged.
Great. So let me close this down now. And as you see, those two jokes that GPT 5.1 model just told us were actually some of the most common jokes. And you can see that in the research paper over here. Whether you're asking for jokes, story ideas, or marketing slogans, AI models like GPT 5.1 and Claude even are starting to sound repetitive, safe, and boring. And this phenomena has a name. It's called mode collapse. All right. And this brand new research paper just dropped that explains exactly why it happens. And more importantly, they found a few magic words that you can add into your prompt that instantly fixes it. So today I'm going to show you how to force your AI to stop being basic and start being brilliant. So why does this mode collapse happen? Because when these models are trained, they use something called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, and humans rate the AI answers. And you can see this happening over here. Now, what do humans have? Humans have something called a typicality bias. So we like things that feel familiar and safe, and we prefer the mugged joke, which was, why did the coffee file a police report? Because it got mugged, because it fits our mental model of a joke. So you can think of multiple diverse answers that are possible from an LLM. The mode is the highest peak, the most likely or the most average answer. And when you ask a normal prompt, the AI rushes to that peak to get a thumbs up. It ignores the valleys and the hills where the actual creativity might live. And this collapses into the mode. So the answer collapses into the mode, and that's what is mode collapse, put very simply. So typicality bias is what causes mode collapse. And you might have a query or a prompt like this: tell me a joke about coffee. You will get diverse base LLM responses like, why did the coffee file a police report? Espresso may not solve all, and so on. So these are the responses A, B, C, and D. And then there is some typicality biases that the human people who are rating these answers might bring in, and they might find A to be the most typical and C to be the least typical joke. So they'll give a thumbs up and rate this highly, which is A, and they might do the opposite with C. And then this gets amplified in post training, and the LLM tries to collapse into the mode, and hence this mode collapse happens. But these researchers found a hack. Instead of asking the AI for an answer, you ask it for a list of answers. And this is the key part: you ask it to tell you the probability of each answer. All right, so that's what is verbalized sampling, which tries to mitigate mode collapse. And these are the different prompts which collapse to different modes. The direct prompting case, when you ask it to tell me a joke about coffee, and you might ask it 5 times, the most likely joke about coffee is one specific joke or maybe two, but it will actually choose from those jokes which are the safest answers for it and give you that joke, right? In verbalized sampling, you append this in the beginning of your prompt, which says generate 5 responses with their corresponding probabilities. And then you say, tell me a joke about coffee. Now, this is also going to give you the safest response, but it's going to be the most likely set of 5 jokes that will cover a range of jokes, and each has a probability of how good it is or how relevant it is, right? So now you get actually 5 different jokes, and these 5 jokes together form the set of the most likely set of 5 jokes that the AI model is going to give you. All right. So when you force the AI to calculate the probability, you force it to look at the entire distribution of answers, not just the top peak. So you force it to acknowledge the rare creative ideas as well. So you might get something with a higher probability like 0.15. You might also get something with a low probability, which is 0.06, which is less than half of that. Now, what's the evidence behind this? Let's look at the difference. So in the paper, they prompted the AI with a prompt to write a short story, and it's starting with a particular, a set of characters. And let's scroll down to page number 8. So let's actually go to page 8, and they give a comparison over here, which talks about this. So let me center this, and you can see the instructions over here. So please write a short story starting with the following prompt. without a goodbye. Now, every single time the AI wrote a romance story about a breakup, Ilara vanished and Liam stared at the empty bed. So you can see that Ilara vanished and Liam stared at it. So there's again Ilara and Liam over here, and he stared at it, and then Ilara over here, right? And then you have Liam over here, and so on, right? So you see that it's very limited in the creativity that it's showing in the direct prompting technique. But there's the other method, which is the verbalized sampling method. And there are three different stories that it comes up with. In the first one, it says, without a goodbye, the email landed in my inbox, and it's a friend saying that they're relocating to some other place. In the second one, it's about the last star in the universe that flickers out. So it's a cosmic horror. And in the third one, a DJ dies mid set at a club. So these are again without a goodbye stories, starting with that particular set of words, but they're very different from what you would get if you use the direct prompting method. So you can see the difference that we went from a Hallmark movie to sci-fi and drama just by changing how we ask the model to produce an output. And let me scroll down over here and show you this, that it also works with image prompts. So when asked for an astronaut on a horse, the standard AI always described a photorealistic desert scene. So this top row is what shows you direct prompting. So a photorealistic astronaut riding on the moon, a realistic desert gallop at golden hour, editorial photograph of a space cowboy. So it's always an astronaut on a horse in a desert scene. And if you actually try out verbalized sampling, which is the method proposed over here, you get various scenes and different situations, etc. So the first one is pretty similar over here. You have an astronaut on a horse on the moon, and it's like a desert scene over here. But you also have a retro futurist rider on a chrome horse. You also have an oil painting. You also have a whimsical watercolor storybook kind of a portrayal over here, right? Now, the best part is that this is a research that we can actually use in our own prompting and in our own use of AI every day, right? You can actually go and try it out. You go to, any kind of an AI tool. So let me actually open one over here. All right, so I'm here at aistudio.google.com, and I'm just going to actually then test out a prompt over here. All right. Now the prompt I'm going to try is generate 5 responses with the corresponding probabilities, and the prompt is going to be give me a template of a generic landing page in a unified HTML CSS JS doc. All right, so let's see how this runs. And just to try it out, actually let me go to another window over here, and let's just do it without the 5 alternatives. All right, so let's run the same prompt without that, and let's see what we get. The only thing is that since this is going to be a verbose output, it might happen that the 5 alternatives that we get are not as detailed as the one single alternative that we have, but at least we'll have 5 different options. Okay, so I have my first output coming over here, which is the single landing page template. So let's see what this gives us. So let's click on the preview button and let's click on show preview. So you have the brand name, home, features, about, get started. Let's zoom in over here. And let's scroll down. So you have the hero image, next idea with confidence, start free trial, and you also have a learn more. Okay, and you have why choose us. And then if you go down, we have ready to grow your business, get started now. And then there's a section at the bottom over here, which has the brand name, company, and support. So that's the footer, right? Now let's go and see what the 5 alternatives gave us over here. Let's click on show preview. And this actually matches quite a lot with the previous one, right? So value proposition that grabs attention. So you have this similar colors, but the structure is slightly different. And then you have the why choose us. That is quite similar to what we had seen in the single prompt, right? Now, let me actually then go down and see what it says. So it says the 5 responses and probability breakdown. So this is the one that I think it has produced, which is the SAS/business standard. Probability is 60%. And then you have 5 more. So let's actually prompt for the second one now. So here's the second one now. So let's preview this, click on show preview, and let's see how this looks. So all right, so this looks very different from the first one, which is the standard one that we got in both cases with direct prompting in the other tab over here and with verbalized sampling over here. So both of them gave us the first standard response. And now this is a second one, which is the coming soon/lead capture template. All right. So something amazing is in the works. We're building the future of your industry. Be the first to know when we launch. And then there's a timer over here, enter your email address and so on, right? So this looks pretty great. And this looks much different from what we have seen in the previous response. All right, so now let's look at the third one. All right, so this is the third one that we've got. So it's like an editorial or a blog one. So click through affiliate bridge template response, and as soon as I moved my mouse, away from that window, it says wait, don't miss this, and it's trying to stop me from going and closing the page. Why industry experts are calling this the biggest breakthrough of 2024, and the new simple method helps thousands achieve this outcome in record. All right, so this is a completely different format from what we saw before this, and this is a editorial slash blog layout. There's no navigation, there are psychological triggers that have been used, and so on. All right, so now let's do the fourth one. All right, so here's the fourth one. Let's click on show preview, and this is now over here. So app node, manage your life on the go. This is like an app showcase kind of a landing page, and in this scenario, we're seeing that the landing pages, the 5 different versions, differ on the purpose of the landing page. If we actually gave it the purpose and defined what we want the landing page for, it would have probably given us 5 different landing pages or styles for the same application, right? Over here, this one, this version 4 is for as an app landing page that it has given, and it looks pretty different, of course, and it looks different from what we have seen before this. So manage your life on the go, experience the ultimate productivity tool. There's a Apple and a Google Play Store button over here, designed for speed, and then there's a ready to get started, and then there's a footer over here, right? So this is this, and let's also try a fifth one over here. And so this has this typewriter effect, and it's focusing on a personal website. So it says Alex Dev, GitHub, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Hello, I'm Alex. I build web experiences, mobile experience, and so on. And let's talk my toolbox, and then the experience over here, and then let's build something together. All right, so that's great. So now just by changing the prompt to give us 5 different alternatives or responses and a probability for each of them, we've actually generated 5 different versions of the landing page, and this just gives us more creativity in the output. It avoids a collapse to the mode, which is the safest answer that we saw as the first response in both the direct prompting and the verbalized sampling. And this technique is what is called verbalized sampling. So I'm pretty excited with it, and it's just a simple thing that you can actually incorporate in your daily work with AI that can improve the output by a humongous amount. At least that's what it seems like, and I'm going to use it daily in my particular workflows. So let's see how this works. If you have any comments about it, please do leave them in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.